Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well tonight and you're ready for a bit of crafting. I have been working really hard on this card for you, and I hope that you're going to enjoy it. I'm trying to get to where I can see my comments. Today is October 19th, 2022, and I am Cindy from Cindy's Creative Cards. And today we're going to be making an easel card for the holidays. And this is, I'll show you, it's sort of bare looking right now, but you open it up and there's the front. And this flips out and it has a penguin and says Merry Christmas. And then this fits like this. And it sets like this to make an easel card. You open it up and here's your holiday message and where you will sign and send your message. So it folds like this. That goes down. This goes over. And then it goes into the envelope just like that. So what I wanted to do today is I'm not going to do every little bit of coloring and cutting, but I am going to show you the fold and how to put it together. So let's get started. The stamp sets that we're going to be using, this one is where I have the Merry Christmas on the very front on this little part right here. And I fussy cut that and pasted it down. And then we are using Santa's Delivery and Santa's Train Dies. We used the snow part here of the penguin place and also the snow, fallen snow right here. So you will see those components as we make the card. So first of all, we're going to focus on the fold. So, oh my, I have gotten it wet somehow. My hand must have been wet. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to get our 8.5 by 11 craft cardstock. And this is in the annual catalog. It's not here, but it's over in the specialty papers. Well, I thought it was. There's the craft. No, here it is, craft paper right here. And that is on page 139. And then you're going to have this 8.5 by 11. Got so many things here. And I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And I am going to cut this as if I were making a regular card. So it's going to be, no, I'm not. Yeah, this way. So 4 1/4. If I were making, no, I am getting myself all confused. 5 1/2. Okay, so I'll cut that. Now, your first score mark, I've got my notes right here, is going to be at 4 1/4, as if you were going to score it for a regular card. So we're going to score that right here. And then you're going to score at 8 1/2. 8. Well, you can't score it at 8 1/2. I have got myself totally confused here. Okay. I scored it the wrong way. Hang on. I cut it the wrong way. So we cut it 5.5 by 11. That's what I did wrong. I knew I was doing something crazy. So that's 5.5. We have a piece left over. Okay. So here is our 5.5 by 11-inch piece of paper. Let me pull this up. Okay, that's about as high as it'll go right now. Okay, I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. Let's get the trimmer blade out of the way. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, and I'm going to score it at 8.5. Okay, so I have these two score lines. Now I'm going to need a second piece of this craft cardstock. I'm going to put that over here so it doesn't get messed up. And I need it to be 5.5 by 3.5. So I'm going to put that in here and cut it at 3.5. Then I'm going to score the one side of this. It doesn't matter which. I'm going to score it at 1/2. That is going to be that little piece in front. Okay. Now, we've got these pieces. We're ready to put it together. So I'm going to move this out of the way. All right. So this piece is going to be the piece that is going to fold up right here in front. Okay. This piece is the piece once folded here is like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste this piece right here down on top like that, so it will then fit like this when it's all put together. Okay, this way you won't see a seam. So let's go ahead and put our glue on this. Now the Sure Seal would probably be fine, but I know that the green glue, which is the multi-purpose glue, or this glue that I use, the art glitter glue, will hold it. But you need a glue that's going to be able to handle the folding and standing mechanism. So I'm putting lots of glue on here. Okay, so, and I didn't need all that glue. I should have put it on this other piece. Okay, so I'm going to fold this down like that, and then I'm going to wipe this part off since I didn't need it. These are the things that happen in the craft room on a daily basis. Okay, that folds up. Now we're ready to score. So this is going to be sticky now. Let me get my silicone mat. So I'm going to score it here. I'm going to score here. And I'm going to score here. Now, this piece, when it's finished, is supposed to fold in so you can fold this up. It folds like that. Okay? So you got this one on the front, and this one folds out, and then this fits in like that. Now, we need just a sliver off of this so it will not hang over. See how it's hanging over just a slight bit here? Well, that makes a difference also when you're standing it up. So let's cut a sliver off. Now, when I say sliver, what I mean is go into the edge of this, this casing where the place where you cut is. You go to that very edge right there. That's a sliver. Well, okay. Now, when we get it put together in the end, it will work better. I promise you. Now, what we did is we scored on one side, so we need to score on the back side. Just like we score on the front, because it does make a difference. Okay, so here we are. It stands up. Well, it will. The weight of what you're going to be putting on the front will make it stand up in place. Okay, so now let's talk about decorating. Okay, so what I did is, for the sake of time, I cut a piece of Pool Party, and it's 3 3/4 by 5. See if that's correct. I won't tell you wrong. Yes, 3 3/4 by 5. And then I cut this black cardstock to mat it at 4 by 5 1/4. So now what I'm going to do is, this piece will go here. But before I glue it down, I want to put all of my pretty things on it. Okay, now I went ahead and I put snow on here, and I used Pool Party, because this is Pool Party paper cardstock, and I just wanted a hint of the snow coming down. That's where it was wet. Okay, now I know. As I said before, I used this little stamp at a Penguin place, and it still is, I think, in the mini catalog now, although it has been in the annual. Let me see if it's, yes, Penguin Place, page 22. Right here, page 22. And it is a very cute set that you can use year-round, actually, because there's a happy birthday, season's greeting. You could use I like you a lotto. It's like a little, except a lot, to the coolest friend to ever. Be cool, be chill, be merry, and lots of thanks. So this can be used year-round. And it has a punch for the penguin. All righty. Now, back to this. After we put it together, I'm going to go back over this and put some white on the largest stars. And I will show you that in a few minutes. Here, I just used an old, I think 1990s stamp, and then went over it with this white Uniball pen, white pen. I love it. It's a 1 millimeter. See, I think that's what it is. Yes, a 1.0 millimeter. It's a Mitsubishi pencil made in Japan. Now, I have tried to use Jelly Roll pens before, but I just haven't had good luck with them. So, I like this one much better. So, anyway, I stamped all over with Pool Party on Pool Party cardstock. Then, I used this stamp in the Penguin Place to create my snow. I just stamped it on white cardstock and cut it out along that line. So I'm going to glue it down. I want to make it look snowy like we're at the North Pole, or almost at the North Pole. So I'm going to put it right down to the edge of the pool party. Okay, so next what we're going to do is I colored a Santa Express, and I use my alcohol markers for this. Real red, shaded spruce, light black, basic gray, crushed curry for the gold. And I did that for the sake of time. But there's one thing I want to show you. I put some gray down where I thought his beard would have shadow. And it looks too dark. So here's what I did. I took my Stampin' Blend, which is the white one. It is a color lifter, actually. And I just went over the gray and pulled it out a little, and it softens it and makes it look just a bit more realistic. Makes it look sort of fluffy. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. And I also did that for the clouds, not the clouds, the smoke that's coming out of his Express, his engine. Okay, so I'm going to glue that down. But before we do that, we're going to have to cut out his train tracks. Santa has train tracks in the die set, not in the stamp set. Here it is, right here. So we're going to cut it out of, I'm scared to use that. I'm going to get the strip that we cut off earlier, and I'm going to die cut this right out of this. And it's going to be just about the perfect length for what we need. Now here is my cut and emboss machine. And this is my magic mat from scrapbook.com. I love it because it keeps my plates straight. Otherwise, they were so bowed, and I've gone through so many sets. But with this, I've been using it now for about 3 months, and I haven't had any problem with bowing. And I put that in at an angle because it cuts better when you do that. It doesn't strain the machine as much. So what I did with my magic mat, so you will know, is, hi Susan, it's good to see you in here. Here is the layer 1, the layer 2, and where you would put plate 3, I put the magic mat, and then put my die and whatever in the paper that needed to be cut, and then another 3 on top of that, and that keeps it from bowing. Okay, so now we have our train track, and we're going to glue that down right here. I got to get in all these rails and my glue tip gets hung up in it. Okay, here we go. So we're going to put this down. All right, and then we can put the train on the tracks. You see how the alcohol markers will bleed through whatever you are using it on. So whenever you are using them, be careful so you won't put it on a page where there's something on the backside you want to keep. Okay, now you notice that I colored that pool party, colored in this place on the engine behind Santa because I wanted it to match the pool party background. Okie doke. Now let's get our puffs. Oh dear. Our smoke puffs that I keep thinking are clouds. Oh me. I think I'm going to have my tweezers to do this. Well, can't pick it up with tweezers. Okay. I don't have any fingernails, so it makes it hard to pick them up, these little tiny pieces. I want it like that. Let's make it come down like that. Okay, there, we've got our puffs. All right, next, we are going to put the little sign. Now, I wrote in North Pole. It's blank, and I wanted it to show where Santa was headed. And I used a, let's see, where is it? It's a micron pen, and it was 001. This is not the one that I actually use, but it is a 001. These pens are wonderful. They're archival ink, so they're not going to bleed or they're not going to dissipate over time. Okay, so now we got the North Pole sign. Now, this stamp set creates little penguins going in that direction. I want penguins going in that direction. So I'm going to show you what I did. This stamp is not the best for doing this, but it will work if you're patient. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So here's my scrap pieces. That's not. Here are my scrap pieces right here. Okay, I'm going to take my this thing right here. I can't think of the name of it all of a sudden. Silicone mat. And put it here. And I am going to pull out my little penguin. And as you can see, he's going in that direction. Well, I want him going in this direction, because I have got the penguin right here that we're going to put on the very front, but I need the ones going in the opposite direction. So we've got to do a mirroring technique. So I'm going to put him on my block, and I'm going to get my Memento ink. I think this one will work better than the other one. The stays on. And there's not enough ink going on to this little penguin to cause it to bleed. So I think it'll be fine. So what you do is you find a clean spot on your silicone mat, and you ink up your stamp really well. Thank you, Susan. I got it eventually. And you stamp it onto your silicone mat. Okay, you take your little piece of paper, you put it down, and you rub it. Now, if you wanted this to be in a specific spot, you could use your Stamparatus. Aha! There we go. And there he is. He's going in the opposite direction. Now I need another one. Don't want to go over him. The trick to this is making sure you don't slide it when you pick it up or put it down. Okay. Oh, and I smeared. But here we got this one. Let me cut him off. I know I can use him. It's not as clear as I'd like for it to be, but I'm going to show you a trick. Okay, where are my other scraps? I had it right here. Okay, I'll use this. Yes, this will work. Okay, let's try this again. Stamp it down. I'm trying to find a spot I didn't stamp before. And just make sure that it's pressed down where the ink will transfer. And I just about smeared it, but that will work. Okay, I got 2 of them. That's what I needed. Now, here's what you do. I'm taking my Micron archival ink pen. This one's 03. I think I'm going to get the 05. Hang on. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. And I am going to trace over these lines. As carefully as I can, so I don't mess it up. And you can see how it's making it more defined. And it will be fine when you cut it out. Alrighty, so here's the next one. And I'm going to go ahead and color this part in. These little lines are hard to see. I don't want to stick my head in the camera view. Okay, so we got that. Now I'm just going to use this and color it in. I'll get a pumpkin pie alcohol marker to do his feet and his beak. So let's see where that is. Pumpkin pie, yes. Here we go. There, does that work? I think so. I'm going to use him. Oh, I have to do this. He is an excited little fella. All right, let's get this part right here. I wouldn't use this pen if there were more to color in, but It's not that much. So I didn't get his head. Okay, now we have to use our cutting and die cutting machine and punch. No, we can't because it's in the wrong direction. All right, I have to do a fussy cut on this. And it's not hard to do. And a lot of people do not like fussy cutting. And they will do anything to keep from having to do it. But really, it is not that hard if you've got a sharp pair of scissors and you turn the paper instead of your scissors. Okay. I got one done. And I thought I had done another one. So you wouldn't have to watch me do it twice, but I'll do it quickly. I've heard people say, it doesn't matter, just do it. But I still want that little white line because it does make a difference in the cards, especially when the rest of the images or things that you've stamped have it. All right, there we go. So we've got one, see them going in different directions. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so I'll bring this back over and we're going to glue these little fellas down. You have to use glue on this project because there's no way that I know of that you can get tape on this without making a mess. Well, can't pick him up. All right. And I don't want to put him on the train tracks. Let's see. All right. There we go. 2 excited little penguins. Now, I told you that I was going to do something to these stars. I'm going to use this gel pen. And this is, like I said before, it's a 1 millimeter. And I'm just going to find the biggest ones. Like here's a big one. And I'm going to go over this. I hesitated to do this, but then I thought, wouldn't it be possible to use my heat gun and dry it? And so I tried it. And it did not come off. And I was thrilled to pieces. Okay, let's see. Here's one. You can do as many of them as you want. If you wanted to, you could do all of them, but I just think a few will get the point across, which is that we want it to look like it's snowing. I think we'll do that one and this one. Okay, so I'm going to get my heat gun. I think I'm going to get my heat gun. Yeah, here it is. And excuse the noise. And I'm just going to blow it on here just for a few minutes. Not a few minutes, a few seconds actually. And it'll dry it, and then you don't have to worry about it smearing. Ooh, I could have done that one. All right, I think that's good. Let's see. Yep, it's on there. That is awesome. Okay, now it's time to put this card together. We've got this ready. I have gotten some lovely colors on his white front. I'll have to work on that. That will come off. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down here on the first panel. This you can use your adhesive for, your tape. And I am going to put that right here on the back. And I am going to make sure that I have plenty of it because it is a little weighty in comparison to everything else. So, I'm going to center it and put it down. Just like that. Okay, now we've got that part. Now we need to do something here, and that's where this little guy comes in, right here. Now, what I did is I haven't done that yet, but I need to. I need to take a second die cut of the penguin and put behind it to give it a little bit more stability. And it's just a plain white sheet of paper. It won't take but a second. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but I put my cut and emboss machine on a silicone mat and so it will not slip. Okay, so we're just going to glue it right on here. And adhere that to it. And you won't be able to tell. So we have that. And then I'm just going to do it on the bottom part of him right here, because that's what we're gluing down. And put him right here. I'm going to hold him just a minute. And then I'm going to let you see this. See, now he looks three-dimensional. I hope you can see that. Okay, now the one thing I haven't done here is I haven't put our sentiment. And I used for this the Santa delivery. Ho, ho, ho. Because it's Santa Claus. Okay, so put this away. Alrighty, so I'm going to stamp. Where is my... Oh, here it is. Well, that didn't do very well, so I'm going to try that again. Turn it over. Boy, that is so deep and rich that it almost blinds you. This is a new ink pad, and sometimes too much ink is worse than too little. There, that's much better. Okay. Now, I took a 1 1/4 inch circle punch, punched it out, and then I got a piece of black cardstock and got the 1 1/2 inch, and just, I did it backwards. All right, I got them. Oh, that's the way they're. Oh, this is 3/4. No wonder. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to put a sticky note on the edge of this, like that. And I'm going to stick it in here and cut it smaller. And look what we have, a nice little frame. Okay, we have that. So now I need the bigger one. Here. And we're going to glue this down. And I'm going to show you that that black is just a little too big. Do you see what I mean? In comparison to this, it just overwhelms it. If you look. So I'm going to cut half of that off. Actually, it's a little more than half that I'm cutting off. But I want just enough to give it some definition. Yeah, I'm getting a little close in places. That's what makes it a handmade card. I got really close. Okay, this is what I get for trying to do it in a hurry. Okay. But we still have definition, and that's what I wanted. Okay. So, get rid of that. Any other jagged, pointy places where it's supposed to be round. All right. And I'm going to put ho, ho, ho right here. Let's see. You know, I really don't like this. I'm going to try this again. Sorry about this, guys. Alrighty, I'm going to glue this down. This piece right here. And I am going to now be a little more careful and not be in such a hurry. Okay, that's better. It's just a little bit jagged right there. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to glue that down. Now that I got glue all over the front of it. Alrighty. Okay, that glue will come off with an eraser. There's always a fix. Okay, so now what we need to do is, if you can see this now, is we need to put Merry Christmas right across here. But before we do that, I wanted to show you, we need to place this piece in here, because this is where you're going to have your saying, your sentiment, and where you would write. So I wanted to use special delivery, and I'm going to get this block, and I'm using block C for this one. And I'm going to get my Memento ink, and I'm going to get my Pearson mat, because I do not want to mess this up. Okay. Looks about... Alrighty. That just is too much ink. When you get new ink pads, you have to play with them. That's better. But there's a blob of ink there. That's crazy. Where did that blob of ink come from? I don't know if you can see it right here on the E. Okay, so I don't want to put that down, because then that will go everywhere. So what I'm going to do is, in this mess I have here, I am going to cut another piece, 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, now let's see if we can get rid of the blob and try again. Okay. There, that looks good. We're going to use that. All right, and that will go right here. So we're going to use our tape runner and put that down. Now you could put one of those little penguins right in here. Okay, but now we're working on Merry Christmas for right there. Merry Christmas. It's going to come out of A Christmas to Remember. Right here. Merry Christmas. Or you could put anything, season's greetings. But I want to put Merry Christmas Okay, so I'm going to get my long block. And I am going to stamp. See if I got enough room here. Yeah. We're going to go through the stamping process again. Now the difference is I'm using a rubber stamp now instead of the silicone. And they're more precise. Well, that's not bad, but this part right here is not as dark as I'd like for it to be. Oh, wow. Christmas is way too dark. Let's get rid of some of that ink. All right, let's do this again. Well, Christmas just comes out dark. Boop. Okay. Well, that didn't come out quite like I wanted it to. With new stamps, sometimes you have to keep trying because they have to get used to the ink. How many times are we going to have to do this? Wow, look how dark Christmas gets. I guess I'm just going to have to use one of those. Well, if I had to choose, I'd use this one. Let's cover this up. Alrighty. I'm going to use this one. Now, we're going to fussy cut this, which means there's no right or wrong way to do it. And I'm just sort of going with the way the letters are formed. And Mary is going to, I'm going to go ahead and cut it separately because if you don't, I found this out, there's a big wide white space in between Mary and Christmas. And it just doesn't look right when you're pasting it down. I had planned to do this fussy cutting before we went live, but time just got away with me, as it always does. I get so engrossed in what I'm doing that I forget time. Okay, we're almost there. It gets so slender, tiny, narrow that you can't get hold of it. Well, let's see if we do this. Yeah, now we're good. All right, so now we've got Mary and we've got Christmas, and we're going to glue that to the front. So I'm going to put glue on the back of these. And this is going to go right here on this panel. So Mary. And when you're putting this down, you'll find that you can't keep it lined up because of the Y. But there you go. And now we have our Santa Express card. So if we fold it, you're going to fold it like this. And that's the way it'll go into your envelope. You open it up, and that's where you're going to write your message. And then it can be set up on the table like this. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a few things from my mistakes. Mistakes make you better at it the next time, I hope. So anyway, thank you. I enjoyed doing this, and I hope you will enjoy making it and using it in your holiday crafting. And I'd love to see pictures of it. If you do, just put it in underneath my post about this video. So I'd love to see the comments filled up with it. Thank you, and I will be seeing you again next week on Wednesday. And until then, I'd like for you to dream, create, and share. Bye-bye.